one of the many reasons why I love having you on, Charlie, is the 15-second exchange we just had before we just came back on the air here with Charley Steiner. You worked for Donald Trump for 2 years, right? The USFL?
I knew Donald when he was a Donald and not the Donald. He was a boy builder who bought a USFL team, the Generals, and took the team and the league into the old crapper.
And you were the play-by-play voice of
Yes, sir.
Of the New Jersey
Generals. He preferred to call them the New York, New Jersey Generals, which was news to the rest of the league, especially considering they played at Giant Stadium.
Did he ever critique you on your on-air work, or
no?
Oh, no.
He would want to come in after games and talk. Imagine that. The nice thing was I did not work for the Generals. I worked for the station, WOR. And so I would often say as diplomatically as I could, stay the hell out.
Nice.
We have not gotten along particularly well over the last 32, 33 years, and you can probably understand.
Now, so that was Herschel Walker, right? Reggie White?
Reggie White was with the Philadelphia Star.
Right, but just in the game.
The USFL
league
was an enormous amount of fun. Anybody who was involved in that league, 83, 84, 85, will tell you that was as much fun as they have ever had, whether it was writers, reporters, players, because it was this rogue revolutionary league that was just having a great old time and had no great desire to go after the NFL, certainly not immediately, until Trump showed up the second year.
Right.
We're going to take this, we're going to have a lawsuit, and we're going to burst our way in.
They won.
$3.
$3. Because they got treble the damages.
Yeah.
And the only problem is the damages, the problem for the USFL, damages was $1.
Yeah.
Like trading places. They just take out the dollar, they bet a dollar bill.
There is a $3 check that exists now in Memphis, Tennessee.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Written out to the United States Football League.
For $3.
Only a loser would cash it.
That's incredible.
So, you know.
No, you gotta frame that and put that one on the wall somewhere.
Oh, it's in a safe deposit box, and it will not.
Wow.
Charley Steiner is here. Radio audience rejoins in a moment. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, and welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. My in-studio guest, who has a School of Sports Communication at his alma mater at Bradley University. He has been a Dodger broadcaster since 2004, and we will always follow him to freedom. Good to see you, Charley Steiner.
Richard.
Again, here in person, in studio. And you just heard Bobby V, right? And I mentioned 2 games of his Mets managing career, the 9/11 return at Shea, and then him returning to the dugout after he's been ejected in full disguise.
Like Groucho Marx.
And you called both of those games.
Both of those games.
You were in the booth for both of the games. Let's take them one at a time. So at what point did you see that he was back in the dugout from your booth position?
I see a guy in the first base dugout, kind of off in the corner, with a Groucho Marx mustache, looking strikingly like Bobby Valentine. I wish I could remember who I was doing color with that night, but I said, this can't be true. And lo and behold, it was. It was Bobby V being Bobby V. And
you just, and was this ESPN?
The ESPN days.
Okay.
Yeah, so what was that?
99.
Was it 99?
Yeah,
okay.
so the camera just zooms in.
And there he was.
And there he was.
And it was like, what do you say?
Gold.
You know,
it's gold. It's gold,
yes,
right?
and I have some history of losing my composure on television. And I'm looking at him, and I am laughing, and I'm thinking to myself, at some point, he will get popped. And I don't even remember how it all ended, other than the fact that there was this unusual visual in the Met dugout
of an ejected manager returning in disguise.
And so I came to learn that faux mustache was the eye black. I didn't know that until that very moment.
I didn't know until I just heard it moments ago with Bobby V on the program. And then you were there for the return to Shea Stadium for baseball post 9/11?
I did right after 9/11.
Yeah.
I did the very first game back in Philadelphia, the Braves and Phillies. And then I would do the Mets and the Braves. And then I did the first Yankee game back. So it was.
What a week.
Oh, it was as impactful as I've ever gone through. I think with the 9/17, which was the first game back in Philly, we were in Bristol, and I was going to either drive to Philadelphia or take the train down. So I'm on was it 95? And at some point, I'm going to make a decision. I'm either going to get off the highway and take the train down or drive down. So I'm just going to take the train. Again, how do you prepare yourself for the first game back after a 9/11? So I got on the train. And I'll never forget going through the tunnel and then heading south to Philly. And off to the left was where the Twin Towers once stood. And the smoke was still billowing out in those iconic pictures of the foundation. And being back in New York last week and passing now the New World Trade Center, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. But that night in Philadelphia, got in the afternoon, and I was sitting with Scott Rowland. And like many of us, he had no idea, should we be here? Is this the time? Well, Larry Boa, I mean, a lot of, these were just guys, human beings, not baseball players.
Sure.
So what happens? Prior to the game, I'm having dinner with Skip Carey and Harry Callis. And we're talking, fellas, what do we do? And Harry said, well, you just tell them what you see because we ain't been through this before. And it was wonderful advice. In the first couple of innings, players, fans, not knowing what to do. And then, God bless him, fourth inning, Chipper Jones steps into the batter's box, and they're booing the hell out of him.
So we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. And now here's Scott Rowland, who an hour or two earlier said, I don't know if I should be here or not. He hits 2 home runs. He's the game-winning hero.
Unbelievable.
And then fast forward a few days later, we go to Shea Stadium, which, of course, was all the supplies going to Ground Zero were in the parking lot there. And
Yeah, it was a staging area.
Yeah.
Shea Stadium.
And then the Piazza home run was unbelievable.
That truly was an unbelievable sports moment. And I understand that as Bobby V said in the last hour, Charlie, that, the Braves were not a willing participant.
Right.
They were sort of the Washington Generals, for the lack of a better phrase, in that moment for Piazza's home run.
And then in the first game back at Yankee Stadium, maybe the most poignant moment I remember best was in the dugout an hour before the game, and you have the police and firemen all in their dress uniforms, and they're going to go out and be acknowledged. And I remember 2 men in uniform, a policeman whose name I did not know, and Lee Mazzilli. And Lee Mazzilli was offering condolences and a hug to the cop instead of the other way around. And it was that, of all the stuff that we went through in that week or 10 days, was maybe the most memorable. Maz and this police officer, and we were all New Yorkers, and it was a moment. Sorry to bring this conversation down, but it was one of those.
I wanted to ask you about it because I just brought it up. Well, that's one of the many reasons why I love having you on, Charlie. I have no idea where the interview is going to go because of the experiences that you've had in your career. Let's take a break here. When we come back, I want to talk some Dodgers, what we saw in Citi Field last night, anything that's ever compared to you. I also, this day in history is something that's fascinating that we do here on this program. Maybe play some Belichick sound.
Just do the whole, I can hardly
it's like
wait.
a sports center. We'll just go around the gamut of sports. Charley Steiner is here on the Rich Eisen Show. We are back with Charlie in just 60 ticks of the clock. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Charley Steiner is here. The Los Angeles Dodgers, for whom you paint the word picture on a nightly basis, currently have a defending champion directly in its rearview mirror. What can you tell me about the stage of a team that has seen some lights-out pitching but still can't shake the Giants, Charlie?
The Giants are always there. They play the game right. This is not a team laden with superstars, but every one of those guys is a tough out. The season now is 114 days in, and I think the Dodgers have been in first place 105 of those days. They were within 2 innings of falling out of first place last night with scoring 5 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th to beat Oakland. This is about where they were in terms of one-loss record last year. From what I read on the internet, and everything on the internet is true.
Well, also on Twitter too, Charlie.
Oh, Twitter.
I know you're not on it. I know you're not on Twitter.
Yes, I do that often.
No.
But because it's
Yeah.
out there, it must be so. And apparently the Dodgers have picked up a couple of pitchers in Latos and Alex Wood and a couple of relievers who are very good. So they've upgraded, I would think. Of course, I don't get a vote in any of this.
Of course, no.
And whether they're done between now and 1 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow, we'll all find out together.
Who's the best team you've seen this year? Who's the best one?
Cardinals.
They are.
Yeah, I mean,
they're always there too.
Yeah, because what happens is they're organizations. They're not just teams. There's a system in which they play and how they bring players up. This is the Cardinal way. This is the Giant way. And a lot of teams over the years simply lose their way in trying to go all in on a given season. And sometimes when you give up the farm for that instant gratification, it can backfire on you.
Well, that said, if the Patriots did what the Cardinals have been accused of doing by the FBI, and they're being looked into by Major League, if the Patriots did it, look out. Nobody's talking about this with the Cardinals, the hacking scandal, Charlie. Or unless are people in your day-to-day?
I think the storm is cleared, at least from the Cardinal perspective. Again, now whether that is some Machiavellian effort on the part of Major League Baseball, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know.
Sure.
Other than somebody got caught hacking.
Charley Steiner is here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last night, Wilmer Flores, as you've seen, crying in the field over a trade that never happened, but was reported on smartphones and mobile devices and the internet and social media as happening. Have you ever seen anything like this anywhere?
Not like that. And again, this is where, I am old school, proud of it, and I think sometimes social media gets out in front too fast, too much, and it was really unfair to the kid, and it was unfair to everybody involved. And yes, you've got two issues. One, you want to get the news out as fast as you can, but generally speaking, it's not a bad idea to get it out accurately. There's a website, and God bless them, and I look at it every day, MLBTradeRumors.com.
Okay.
Rumors become fact even if they're not. But it's juicy. It's the nature of baseball. You want those rumors because we can talk about this stuff. But it isn't necessarily or always based in fact. And a kid like Flores, he gets a standing ovation. He has no idea why.
Yeah, he's got to be like, wait a minute. Dude is the guy who's hit 2 home runs in the game that he's going to hit another third.
It's like Marv Throneberg. I don't know why they asked me to do this commercial. Now he's getting a standing ovation.
That's
it's like, what's going on?
Right
then
there.
he goes back to the dugout, and they say, well, you may have been traded. What? And Terry Collins had no idea either. And so somewhere the need for speed has kind of superseded the need to get it right.
Yeah, Collins had a great press conference.
He was right.
He's just like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I didn't get a phone call.
I didn't
I'm going to
know.
win games. There's no crying in baseball, essentially, is what he was trying to say, although he understood that the kid would be upset. Yeah. What a spot. I've never seen anything like that. Today's day in history, if I got to do a little bit of taking a pause right here for you with you here in this studio. Just get your thoughts on today in history, brought to you by TrueCar. Do you want to hit it, Chris Law?
Sure, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Here is a bulletin.
This day in history.
The rest is history.
It's a little interactive, so it's going to come back to you guys at the end. But on this day, July 30th, 1976, Bruce Jenner won the gold in the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal with a record point total of 8,618 points in the decathlon. He defeated the 1972 Olympic champion and world record holder out of the Soviet Union, Nikolai Avilov. And one of the ways that he trained for this, which was different from the way most decathletes trained, is they all trained in bunches at the time. All decathletes trained together. He went and sought out the best athletes at the individual events and trained with them. So it kind of got me thinking, we kind of think broadly about the decathlon. We know all 10 events, but how many of them can we name? So I'll leave it to you guys together.
Oh,
the
gosh.
10 events of the decathlon.
I can't even.
I got a checklist
You
here.
got a javelin, right?
Okay.
Javelin is one.
You're looking
out.
for me for
I'm
help?
out.
This is
I'm
all,
out.
This is all three of you.
I don't know. Jeez, I didn't even know you were going to go.
High jump.
I didn't know there was
Long jump.
any
the
long
16
Long
division.
jump, or the
high
pole
jump.
vault.
So we have
Pole
javelin
vault.
correct, high jump correct, long jump correct, and pole vault correct. That's 4.
Yep.
6 to go.
6 to go,
The
guys.
1,600 meters.
Close. 1,500. That's the final event.
But Price is Right rules, you went over, so I'm sorry.
1,499 meters.
Right.
There's a hurdle event in there.
Okay.
110-meter hurdles.
Okay. The shot put.
Shot put.
So how many left do we have?
You have 3 left.
Discus.
Del Tufo coming in with the discus.
Yeah,
2
discus.
Got
How
the
many's
discus.
left?
2.
800.
How about?
Is there?
I've got one right here because the Kardashian hurdles. Do we have the Kardashian
So
hurdles?
the 100-meter dash and the 400-meter run are the other 2
Very
events.
good.
There you go.
in it.
And save time and money by downloading TrueCar's mobile app. Configure the new car you want, then see what others paid for it, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers in your area. Most users save over $3,000 less than MSRP. Save time, save money, never overpay. Download the TrueCar app today. What was your recollection of Jenner in '76?
Oh, he was the dominant athlete. Again, he did train individually. I mean, he was the guy. What do I know about a discus? It's a heavy frisbee.
Yeah, right.
So all this other stuff, it was great theater, great television.
Yes.
And he that was when you were considered the world's greatest athlete. If you won the
decathlon,
decathlon,
right?
you were the world's greatest athlete.
You got yourself on a Wheaties box. I'm here with Charley Steiner on the Rich Eisen show. Who was the toughest interview you've ever had as in a member, not a one-on-one? You're at the press. You're in a press conference. I think you know where I'm going with this one. Who's the toughest one that you were sitting there as a member of the press trying to get something out of a podium speaker? Charley.
You stumped me on that one. Because there's nobody better or worse than the guy you're about to pop up.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Belichick.
Yeah.
Did you ever had to do that?
Not really. No,
Okay.
I had my NFL time had pretty much come and gone.
Yeah,
as
he was with
arriving
the
in.
Giants when you were doing the Jets.
Right.
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 In the mid to late 80s.
And and I love Bill Parcells. I mean, I think he's one of my favorite guys. But if he wanted to be cantankerous, there was nobody better.
Did you find yourself on the wrong side of the
No,
microphone
never,
there?
truly never, but
Okay.
watching him on occasion. He still has, to me, the best sports quote that I can remember.
And that is?
You are what your record says you are.
You are what you are.
And that's it. So if you were expecting him or a player was expecting him to milquetoast, a bad performance, this is what you see.
Well, how about Bobby Knight? You ever?
I
Never did
I
went there?
knew Bobby Knight, but I never had to interview him.
Okay.
And so it was fascinating because Bobby Knight, Bill Parcells, and Tony La Russa were close friends.
Still are, right?
Still are.
Uh-huh.
Because they're the same core personality. One is cerebral, one is humorous, and one is cantankerous. But at the end of the day, they see the world essentially the same. So when La Russa was managing in St. Louis with the Cardinals over the summer, you would see these guys together. They would come out and they'd be out on the field.
They were always at spring training fixture, too, right?
Because they were buddies and they saw the world and they saw athletics and saw coaching in exactly the same way.
Well, Belichick had another shutdown press conference, as I like to call it. He did the shutdown press conference yesterday, where he's clearly not going to talk about Brady or anything else.
He's not engaged.
Well, he's also not going. He knows how not to be baited either. He understands that if you're going to be asking about anything to do with the past, about anything that brings up anything to do with the past, and any hypotheticals about the future, about anything about the team,
It's already been discussed.
Opens the door about what are you going to do about Brady.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just not going to have anything to do with anything right now and just get through it. And it makes members of the media just go nuts and ask a crazy question of him. And that happened again today.
Oh, we can hardly wait.
Are you ready for this? Do we have the entire exchange here? About the weather? We got the
Yes.
weather? Okay. Okay, here we go. Roll that one.
When you set your practices this week, do you kind of think about what the weather's going to be and adjust it according to that? Or?
No, we don't know what the weather's going to be. I mean, we were standing out there a couple days ago, and it went from one type of weather to a very severe rain in a matter of minutes. So you tell me what the weather's going to be. I don't know. Whatever it is, we've got to play in. So. whatever we get, we'll play through. It snows, it snows. It rains, it rains. It's hot, it's hot. It's windy, it's windy. It's not windy, it's not windy. We can't control any of those things.
A regular Jim Cantori.
It's so amazing.
He was talking about a hard rain, and I thought he was almost going to go like Matt McConaughey in True Detective, talking about what a hard rain is. And
Dylan, a hard rain is going to fall. Or you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows.
I mean, can you believe that? That was an actual exchange in a major sport press conference.
Well, it's gotten to the point where he has become a caricature of himself at all these press conferences. He knows his role. The media now knows its role. They are just straight men for his one or two line non sequiturs, and you move on. You're not going to get anything out of him. And probably in a court of law, you wouldn't get much either.
I don't know. It's truly unbelievable. But
he's really good at it.
He's awesome at it. He's Hall of Fame at it.
Yeah.
Charlie?
No, absolutely.
He's good as they get right now.
Again, he walks into the room with the sweatshirt and all that, always immaculately dressed, and he just walks in and controls the room. It's fascinating.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.